to all you guys. Congratulations on your new placements. It's going to be a big year, sometimes in good, sometimes in bad ways, but I like to think, and in my experience, has been way more good. Some information about me, I am a graduate of SUNY Buffalo 2016. I have a degree in applied linguistics, and I had minor concentrations in education and Korean language. I first came to Korea with Korvia in 2016, 2017 through EPIC, and I was placed in Ulsan. While working at Ulsan, I taught at the elementary level. I taught at Shinjong Elementary School. This was my favorite class of 6th graders. This was a nightmare class of 3rd graders. Yeah, so for EPIC or the public school positions, a lot of times with the public schools, you will be assigned a co-teacher. And so this co-teacher is someone who is not only going to be sort of your mentor, your handler, someone who's going to help you if you need help with anything in Korea in terms of your bank or your phone, or going to the hospital because you tripped on a stone playing Pokemon Go. Happened to me. Twisted my ankle pretty good. And so they'll be there to help you with a lot of those things. And the teaching division can vary not only school to school, but co-teacher to co-teacher. And there's really no right or wrong way to go about it. Some co-teachers prefer to do 50-50 a lesson. Well, they'll teach for a certain amount of time and you'll take over from there. It could be all you, where it's just they're going to stand in the back for disciplinary reasons, and if they need to jump in, they will. Or it could be more of on the Korean teacher, where you're just there to read and check and do sort of like extra zhuzhing of the lesson. There will be definitely large class sizes. When I worked at Shinjong Elementary, my class sizes varied from about 30 to 35 per class. And so in that case, group work and activities is a must. And especially because in public school, you're going to be working with a lot of different levels. Not all kids can afford to go to Hagwons. So some kids who they'll be coming into 3rd grade and this is their first time learning English are going to be wondering, looking at the alphabet, wondering what to do. And then there's other kids who have been coming through with their preschools and their Hagwons, and they already can hold a conversation with you, no problem. So it's group work and group activities is definitely going to help you to sort of keep the classroom at a level where you're not going to lose the lower students and you're not going to bore the older ones. If you are going to be using a book for your classes, the way I usually did it was follow the book, one section of the book, which is usually focused on a speaking skill, a writing skill, a reading skill, that kind of thing, and match it with a supplemental-based activity. So a speaking game, a writing worksheet, something along those lines, to sort of keep the pace with the book, because you will be using that book for the entire year. Looser time restraints, you can go slower, you don't have to worry so much if I gotta finish this by this day and keep it going. And also a big one is the chain of command if there's a problem. So if there's something that is going on in your school, or if there's some sort of issue that you have with another teacher, or something with payment or something along those lines, it's important to follow the chain of command and go to your co-teacher first. If they can't or won't help you with that, then to go up to the head teacher, then your vice principal, then your principal if they're willing, and then head on up if you have to the MOE or any of those things. But it's definitely super, super important to follow the chain of command, because if you don't sort of acknowledge those ranks, it can go downhill very fast. Next one. Another thing about public schools, since the time restraints are not as harsh as Hagwons, there's a lot of time for culture lessons and filler lessons. So there's some times where my co-teacher would tell me, I don't want the kids to do the book today, come up with something. And so that can be culture lessons based on holidays, St. Patrick's Day, Christmas, Halloween, any sort of things like that, just to get them learning about different cultures, Harry Potter, Pokemon, pop culture, any sort of games that you want to throw in there. As long as they're speaking English, it works. Lots of crafts. This one was very fun for the kids, but we made paper airplanes about a unit on travel, and we took them outside to see how far they can throw them. I made the mistake of picking the 105-degree day to do this lesson, but it was a lot of fun for them. This one was, we were learning about India, and they're doing blind yoga. So their teammates are on the opposite side of the desk, trying to get them to match the pose on the screen, and they are blindfolded. So that was a lot of fun. So next one. Work, sort of office etiquette and work culture in public schools. This can also transfer to a lot of your Hagwons that you will be working at. The dinner culture with usually referred to as paychicks. It's what after work, you go with your whole school, sort of like a team bonding kind of experience, just to get to know each other a little more, drinking, revelry. So some sort of tips to sort of impress your new coworkers. If you are younger, it's typically nicer if you start to hand out the cups and stuff first. So usually they'll be sort of situated in a little drawer underneath the table, and if you just pass out the spoons, the chopsticks, pass out all the cups, it sort of is polite. And when accepting pouring a drink, using 2 hands is definitely a big one. And also turning away from those older than you while drinking alcohol. A lot of them won't be super stingy about this, but it definitely is sort of impressive to show your new coworkers that, oh yeah, like I know what to do, so it definitely goes over well. And don't be scared of spontaneous singing or speeches. Both have happened, and they were both awful. Hagwon and private academy. So in your Hagwons, there's going to be a lot less supplemental activities than there would be in public schools. These are going to be more about completing your books on schedule, having your kids hit benchmarks, and really getting through the material that they need to have learned and need to be tested on. Lots of book juggling. You will have, in most cases, not only different books for different age levels, but different books for different kids for different classes. So being organized is a big must working at Hagwon, just to make sure that you are hitting all those benchmarks and nothing's going to come up and surprise you. Smaller class sizes is a big plus of Hagwon life. Parents are also very, very involved, and they can be very opinionated. So just trying to take what you can from the parents, let them know that you're doing your best and continue to do their best for their kid, and just trying to, in some cases, water off the duck's back. Recently, this past week, we sent home one kid with their lunchbox. The lid accidentally got switched with another child's lid, and we haven't heard the end of it still from this mom. She's going on about it, but they are very involved, and so just something to be aware of. Flexibility is also a big plus working with Hagwon life, especially classes can be added, classes can be dropped, students come in, students can go out. And so it's very important to be very flexible, not only in your classroom, but in the sort of environment of the school as a whole. Older kids in Hagwons might be very tired. This might not be their only Hagwon that they're attending, so it's very important for you to keep in mind that they're going to be tired. It's going to be a long day for them. So trying to work with them as much as you can is going to really help your lessons. And the younger kids, basically try to entertain them as much as you can. With the 2-3-year-olds that I work with, we do a lot of singing, Play-Doh, flashcards is a must. Any sort of mini game you can think of to get them excited about it is gonna, help your lesson go a lot smoother. All right. At general school life, for materials, these 2 are my personal favorites. The first one being Twinkle. I think it's .org. Google Twinkle, it'll come up. Twinkle, it is a partially paid resource, but you can sort of pay for a plan that gives you access to the amount of things that you want to have access to. So stuff like board decorations, worksheets, activities, Play-Doh mats, sensory activities, motor skills. They've got everything on there, and they're a really great resource. Another one is wayboot.org, which was free up until, I think it was like a year or so ago. But now it is, I think, $20 for a whole year. And this is sort of a community funding lesson bank where different teachers from different schools just say, hey, I made this cool game, it went over really well. Here it is if you want to try to get it to work. Another one is also CourseShare. CourseShare is the website where a lot of the teachers who didn't want their material on WeGoop to have be behind a paywall took their stuff off Waygoop and threw it up on CourseShare, and that one is free. And also good old-fashioned Pinterest, can never really go wrong. Classroom management, I just have some ideas up here that have worked well for me in the past. Classroom Dojo is great. The students can create their own monster, and then it's basic, give points for good behavior, take them away for bad behavior. They get really attached to the monsters, so it works very well. Another one I have for just general older students, a stamp sheet works really well if they win a game, if they do well, mark off, tick on their stamp sheet. And the way I worked it was at the end of the year, for every 10 stamps that they received, they got a raffle ticket. They got a piece of candy and a raffle ticket. And at the end of the year, they could put their raffle tickets in a big hat, and me and my co-teacher would pull one out, and that would let them choose a bigger prize. So that was very motivating for them. And for my younger kids, I just use a standard sticker sheet. The younger ones just like getting the stickers. They'll fall off in 2 days from their sticker sheet and they won't even notice. But they just love getting stickers and it's really motivating for them. And for the older kids, if they fill up their sheet, little piece of candy. Motivating, they get really scared if you put your hand toward the sheet like you're gonna take one off. They get in line real quick then. But works really well for a lot of those age groups. All right, so next, the life outside of the classroom in Korea. So this is mostly going to be apps and screenshots, and these are a lot of the things that really make life in Korea a little more comfortable, especially if you're feeling homesick and you're like, oh, I want to make this recipe from home, but I can't find where to get that thing, or I really want to go to this event, how do I get there? Like, I'm lost, I don't know what to do. These are really good apps, and these are apps I still use every day. Yeah, so this one, probably the most used app on my phone. This is Yogyo, which is a food delivery app. So you punch in your address, and it brings up here this whole menu, and you just scroll through, what am I feeling? So chicken or Chinese food, pizza, Korean food, snacky type stuff, dessert, pig's feet, Japanese food. So anything you want, you click on it, boom, 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 punch in your order, and it's at your door, easy peasy. They don't have an English option, I don't think, yet, but as long as you can read Hangul, it's pretty easy to figure out. Little trial and error is always okay. That's the next one. Also a very used app on my phone, Kakao Taxi. They do have an English version, so it makes it that much easier. So Kakao Taxi is basically like, Uber just came to Korea, but I don't think they're going to work really well. So Kakao Taxi is like Uber for Korea. So you open it up and it'll search for your current location and automatically know where you are. You hit this little destination button and type in where you want to go. And so I just said Gangnam Station. I just said Gangnam Station, and you can either just click the hard address, or you can sort of move the pin around, say I want to be picked up from here, I want to be picked up from here, and then set where you're going, and boop, request taxi. It'll let you know, it'll give you a picture of your driver and your driver's license plate. So when he is approaching, I usually just do the old Uber, stick out my phone, get in, and they'll say, you're going to this place? Yep. Boom, on your way. Easy peasy. This one is my favorite route planning app for the subway Korea. It's either going to be this yellow icon or a blue icon. And they also have an English option. So super easy, you can swipe to see the entire map system, and they also have the map system for Busan, Daegu. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that one's Gwangju too. And so wherever you want, just click where you're going, click where you're from. They'll give you the fastest routes. You can pick either fastest by time or fewest transfers. So it's really easy to help you get around on the subway. And so the next one I have Naver Maps, also really good for navigation if you don't want to take the subway, if you want to see if there's a faster option. So again, I'm pretty sure they have an English option also. So yeah, same deal. Enter where you're starting, where you're going, and it'll bring up all these different options. So here it'll say you can take the subway, that amount of time, or you can take these buses, and it'll give you bus times, bus routes, when the next bus is coming. And if you pull up the drive option, you can also see, it'll estimate how much a taxi will cost going from your 2 points. And if you drive a car, how much it'll cost in gas. In gas. This one is also one of my favorites, coupon. It's a bit of, I guess I'd equate it to a bit of an Amazon kind of website, but when you download it, here it brings up the first main menu. You can actually order your groceries straight to your door through this app. So I don't go to the grocery store, they scare me. And so I use this for all of my grocery needs. And what's even better about Coupon, if you click right here where you see this little orange for the food, and it brings up anything you could think of for groceries. And if you click down here at the bottom, it should have like a little Campbell soup can if you can't read the Korean. Click on that and it brings up their entire international food section. So pretty much anything that you can think of that you're missing from home, they have almost all of it. And so I get my hot Cheetos on here at least 3 or 4 weeks apart from each other. So you'll be able to find anything you need on there, from cooking oils and canned goods, coffee, candy, mixes, sauces, anything that you could be missing, you can find on Coupon. Oh gosh, and this one is, so this one, I don't know if you might want to take pictures of for future reference, or maybe we can get some sort of printout, but this is for the post office. So this is a app that you can use to actually have the post office come to your door and pick up your box and send it for you without even having to lug the big heavy boxes to the post office. So again, all in Korean. I did my best to try to make this as big as possible, but you would first just click on the little mail truck, and here it says 택배. So that's reserve your time. Click on that time, fill in your personal information, and then here, schedule your date and time for the pickup. So next slide. And then here, sort of contents of the package, how much it approximately weighs. Try to get as close as possible. It doesn't need to be 100% accurate. The box size, and then what's more specifically inside the box. And then, yeah, it's a lot. That's why I'm hoping we can maybe get a printout of this one. And then here, any special instructions if you want them to leave it at the door, if you want if you want to have them call before they drop it off, any specific instructions. And then here is sort of the confirmation screen. You hit next. One more time to confirm everything. And then go to the payment screen. Oh no, this one is the payment screen. And this is the payment screen. Confirm. Confirm. And then you'll get an email, and you just have to chill for the post office to come get your things. This has been very helpful, especially the first time I tried to send things home. My muscles were sore for a couple of weeks after that, trying to carry it all the way to the post office. So yeah, this is definitely much easier, and so hopefully I can send an email with just those slides if we need to print it out. Yeah. And so some easy, these ones are pretty quick. Some easy tips for language. Naver Dictionary is definitely the most reliable when it comes to like one-word translations I've found. Like, so if it's on your washing machine, for instance, I don't know what that means. Naver Dictionary is usually pretty reliable when it comes to those translations. And what I found is Papago is usually pretty close to full sentence translations. They might sound a little funky, a little off, but generally you'll be able to get your message across with Papago, in my experience. Next one. The next one I have is Air Visual. Oh, it's going on there. Ooh. Okay. Next is Air Visual. So this will give you a real-time look at the air quality, which is very important in the spring because of the yellow dust coming over from all over. and the Misemanji during spring. And so this is very helpful to let you know when it would be healthier to go outside wearing a mask. Usually not, the air is usually not that bad all year round, but in the spring it can get a little muggy. So this is always good to have. Another one I use a lot, this Korvia Talk for easy KTX tickets. They have an English option, easy peasy, ticket reservation, where you're from, where you're going, what time, how many, and it'll bring out this whole list, and you can just pick which KTX is right for you, for where the times that you're going. Have the tickets on your phone, easy peasy. And so this one is how to pay any bills that are going to be showing up at your door. And so usually they're going to be kind of manila rectangles, and they'll have your address on them, a whole bunch of information. And on the back here, you'll see all of this writing. But the important thing you want to look for is right up here in the left-hand corner, this box. And so it'll show you how much you owe, because this one was electric. And so it'll show you how much you owe. It'll show you the date where it needs to be submitted by. And the easiest way to really pay this bill is in this sort of section right here. It'll be broken down into all the different banks. So go down to find the bank that you use, and then you go to their ATMs, and the ATMs will mostly have English options. Hit English option, hit transfer, and when it asks you the number of the account where you want this money to go to, input that right in there. The next screen will say how much you want to send, input that amount, boom, 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 done. Get to keep using electricity for another month. Okay. Another thing that was confusing to me at first is what is trash? So your buildings will have their own specific trash disposal methods. Some buildings will have very big containers with labels on it, so this is where your glass goes, this is where your containers go, this is where this goes, yada, yada, yada. And some buildings, like my building, we just have a big bin, and we're like, okay, recycling here, trash on the corner. So it can depend on your building and where you live. And that can be on the days that it gets picked up, bins, places. Styrofoam is trash, so that has to be put in a trash bag and out on the curb. Also, you must separate your food into a different food, either a food container or a food bag. And with the exception, no shells or peels. Those are trash. And so when you separate your food into one big bag, I recommend keeping it in the freezer so it doesn't start to smell. That'll really keep the smell down. Separate food. And then you need to, usually any marts in your area, Supermart or Family Mart, will have these stickers. And to be honest, I'm not sure what they're called. I just took a picture every time I walk up. I'm like, I want some of these. And these are just basically confirmations that you're paying the tax on disposing of the food waste. So on that bag, you have your food waste in, peel off one of these stickers, slap it on there, either out to the curb or in your separate bins. And then this is a good example of what the trash bags look like. Again, it needs to be in one of these type of government bags. And you can get these bags, again, from any mart, supermarket. Usually when you go to the supermarkets, when you make your purchases, they will give you a trash bag just as your shopping bag to take home. So I've never really run out of them. And yeah, recyclables, glass, cardboard, plastic, similar. All right, important phone numbers, just in case. 112 for the police, 119 for fire and ambulance, 1339 Korea Center for Disease Control Foreigner Helpline. This one was big when the MERS, the sort of MERS scare was in effect. So think of it as like a poison control kind of thing if need be. 1366, the Seoul Women's Helpline, for anything regarding domestic abuse, anything that's going on that you think you need to seek some help for. The 1366 is the Seoul Women's Helpline. And 1330 is Korea travel information, but they do provide some translation assistance. So if you're in a really big bind, always worth it to try to call them and see what they can do. And so here for the last one, just general lifestyle. Meeting people, the easiest way to sort of go about that is to get on Facebook. There's a group for everything and everybody. Search by your interest. There's an expat women's group. There are book clubs, wine clubs, travel clubs, sports teams, TV viewing events, an improv theater group I have heard of, and the language exchanges for not only English to Korean, but a lot of other languages have also started becoming more popular at these language exchanges. And so all these are great ways to meet people. Sort of search by your interest on Facebook, in Korea, and it should